Hi, everyone. It's really nice to see you all. Grab those red tags because we're going to be doing something with them. I want you to take out some pens, and I want you to remember when you were a child, what was your most favorite thing to do when you were little? Like, remember the room you were in? Remember the friends you used to play with? Remember what you used to do in your privacy and with socially? What was it? Swings, blocks, gardening, Legos, games, video games. Write them down on the red. Write them all down. Everything you can remember. Just go back a couple years when you were little. Go back to that place where you would remember all those things you absolutely cherished doing. I know it was a while ago, but bring them all back. They're important. They're memorable. They shape you. Don't forget them and write them all down. You're going to need them on your red sheet because you're going to need them later. Look at that list. Isn't that amazing when you start thinking about all the things you used to do when you were little? When I was little, I liked to dress up. I liked to dress up my dog, my brother. I liked to dress up with my friends and go dancing. I loved to dress up with spoons on my nose for some reason. And I loved dressing up with my father, who was a Shriner clown. We used to go to parades together. And that, was my childhood. But my most favorite thing to do was to get up on my bed and look across at my barrel, get all dressed up. And then I would go to these magnificent places of make-believe in the mirror of my imagination. It was so awesome. I could go to under the sea, I could go to castles, I could go to doorways that led somewhere new. I loved to play in that mirror and imagine all the wonderful places I could go. And then somewhere around 7 years old, it started to change because I felt that pull. I had to grow up, and I had to let go of all that play that I used to do when I was little. Well, I didn't want to. I mean, I could grow up, that's okay, but I didn't want to stop playing. So I thought to myself, what if I made myself a promise and I never stop playing? Heck, yeah, I could do that. Because you know what? Isn't that just as important as water and food and shelter? Why did it become a rule? What's the silly thing about that? Why did we have to stop playing? I don't remember what that's about. But it was a rule. We had to let go of it. And I didn't think that was right, because the possibilities of what you can do when you actually allow your play to continue, how they all mix together, how you problem solve all the time. It was magnificent to still be playing. I mean, I was a teenager standing up on that bed, still imagining all these worlds I could create. But that was pretty easy for me, because I'm a wacko. I'm a certified weirdo. I'm an absolute complete letting my freak flag fly. It's not hard. So how big of a deal was that for me to actually literally keep playing? So I said, I have to make a bigger promise. And that bigger promise was, dear everyone, never stop playing. So what that meant is I had to take what I made the promise to myself to do and try to bring that to all of you. Everyone around the world. How was I going to find out how to make sure that they never stop playing? Never stop playing. So I became a playologist. So I studied, went to graduate school, got a degree, started clinical therapy, worked with families and play. I actually was a trained therapist for deaf children and their families, learned sign language as I was growing up and able to treat them in therapy. Communication was different. I used signs, I used play. Then I started writing books about it. Those books were about teaching parents how to use play with their kids to solve problems. And then I thought, not big enough, not enough families, not enough. So I started inventing. And what were those inventions about? They were about trying to take lots of families now, using what I knew with the human behavior, how to get people to play, and bringing that into really big play things, like the size of theme parks. Oh my goodness. Could I get lots of people to start playing? You betcha. Take big buckets of water and dump them on the head, shoot them out of water cannons, climb up all kinds of treehouse. Literally look at them playing. What else could I do? Work with my team, and we invented 20,000 foam balls in a room with blasters and dumping them on their heads and falling and throwing them at each other and sucking them up vacuums and distributing them all over the place, and it was a lot of great fun. And then around 25 years ago, as my children were growing up, I saw there was something else coming in to play with us, and that was technology. Now, technology, mind you, definitely can steal the big play away. But I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it like, could it be magic? Like behind the curtain, like you didn't know what was going on, and sort of sneak play in there using that technology. So it wasn't literally a disadvantage to me. But it taught me a lot about invention. So I started inventing ways to take that kind of play, like video games, and bring them to life, like an entire 20,000 square foot building with castles and trees and tree houses and goblins and dragons. And you had this, a magic wand. It really works. There's 5 million of these now in the world, and 18 of these spread across the world as well. And what it really is a video game come to life. You can wave the magic wand, and it will know who you are. It tracks you through a play, and then it literally brings it all to life with treasure chest opening. You go on quests and adventures like Dungeons and Dragons, like World of Warcraft come to life. Cool, right? And you keep this wand, and it never forgets you. You just keep playing the whole time, and it always comes back to how you play. These are the magic quests that are all over the world today. And they literally spread through hallways and resorts, and you never, ever are forgotten. I did it in water park slides, too. So you would go down the water park slide, you go over, the lights were overhead, you had buttons on your handles, you press the button, you're going down, you have to make sure it matches with the slide lights, and you get back down to the bottom, and you get a score. And then, if you went home, you could still do your virtual play, like get your fix, when we did it with Magic Quest 2. But what would happen is the really, really, really big play, like literally, wasn't on that virtual device. It was in the big place where all the families were playing together. Yeah, it still wasn't good enough. So we have that guy. He's all ready to play, right? But who I really want is that dude. He is my next victim. He is the arm putzler. They're the ones that are kind of leaning in and leaning out. Like, maybe I'm going to do this, and maybe I'm not. And I had to think really hard, use my play behavior understanding of how I was going to get them to play. Because they're really who I'm after. Because remember, these guys are kind of getting into it. He not so much. So let's take the foam factory 25 years ago. One of the coolest things about this is we used to do tests. Our teams used to bring them in, build like a fake one, and they all come in, and we tried to see how it works. So in came the girls, the boys, everyone's running around. The boys would go in and put like one ball at a time. They go in, and they put the ball in the shooter, boom. Then go get another one, boom. Then the girls, they take their shirts out, stuff the balls in, run up to the blasters, boom, 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 nail the boys completely. Hunters and gatherers. Then I take those hunters and gatherers, and I thought, that's how I'm going to solve the problem. So in walks the arm putzler, the mom, looking at this blaster arena, going, gunplay, what's going on? I can't connect. I don't know how. So I take it, and I give her a bag. I said, go get those balls. And she would unfold her arms, and she would grab that bag, and she'd start loading up the balls, and she'd start feeling kind of comfortable, and she'd go after the blasters. And then 20 minutes later, she was vicious. She was all over it. Boom, boom, boom. I gave her play permission to participate. I gave her something she knew how to do to gather, to get her connected to that playfulness in herself. She was absolutely hanging out with those balls and making it happen. Now, next, Magic Quest. Oh, wait, let me show you this. Watch how it's done.
What was it like? Why were you there for so long?
This is 25 years ago.
It was fun. People. Yes. That was a moving target.
I love that. And I love how much that got everyone to play. Magic Quest. Yeah. Yeah. I'm able to... there it is. I'm able to get people to play with magic wands. This is kind of easy. Like kids, you're going to get to play, you're going to fight dragons, you're in. But, yeah, see, yay. But not so much this guy. Dad, Grandpa, how was I going to get them to play? How was I going to get them to want a magic wand and play just like the rest of the kids? So it was the Ancient Book of Wisdom. Cheap book. I give it to the parents, to the grandparents. It had all the places, all the secrets in it. And then the kids would go back to the parents, and they would ask for the clues, and then the parents would go back, and they're like, I get it, it's not hard, it's a video game, but I know how to play. And they go buy a magic wand. Like half of those magic wands that were sold are from parents that would buy it. So I really enjoyed that until this one moment when I really knew that I accomplished my goal. It was when I was standing out of Magic Quest, and I saw a family come out. They all had wands, the fathers, grandparents, everybody. And this guy, he walks up to that lamppost, and he waves his magic wand to light it up. The technology's back in the building. It's not lighting, folks. It's done. I was in heaven. Guess who he thought he was? Look what happened. He's a little boy again. He's a man with magic. It really worked. So, what if we did this around the world? What if our sandbox was the UN? What if we brought play in to solve big problems? What if we used skills and we thought about how we play? Use those things on your red tags to actually bring world change, climate change problems solved through play. It doesn't have to stop. We might find the answers. We could do something big. So I want you all to take your fingers like this. And I want you to look at me with that stern look like I did when I was a little girl. And I want you to say it with me. Never stop play. Thank you very much.